everybody, how you doing? My name's Dave, and if you've been traveling around Europe, you can call me Daveypoo, the mobile music minstrel. How you doing? All right, so Sugar Bytes people were so kind, and they reached out to me and said, hey, we like your videos. If we give you some apps, will you do some videos? And I said, yes! So I'm going to be doing some videos working with the Sugar Bytes apps. Now, full disclosure, yes, they gave me some free apps, and yes, I'm doing some videos. Do I like every single thing about them? No. Am I going to tell you about it? Yes. Am I going to do tutorials? Probably not, because I just don't really do tutorials. But I'm going to show you some ideas that I've had and ways that I approach things. Now, the one that I have latched onto here is Egoist. I don't normally work with sample and slicing apps and things like that. But, this one is working for me. I don't know, it works well with my brain. So I'm going to show you some things that I do here and some different ways of approaching it. Since I don't come at it from a standard sort of sampling mindset, here's some ways that I apply the things that I do. So I have an initialized patch set up here. You can see down here in the numbers 1 through 16, those are the steps in the sequencer. I've got them set so that they just play straight through. I've loaded in a sample here called Badu Rim, 86 BPM. Okay, now this isn't what the sample sounds like, but if I was to just play through all 12 of the samples here, or of the slices, I should say. Okay, so I've messed around with the sensitivity a bit to get it to where it's picking up the slices that I want by itself. As I've mentioned before, you can change the length of the sample, like the gate length. Okay, if you don't want all that ring, you can change the decay. Right. So here's some ways that you can approach making a funky groove out of a slicing app. So this was just a sample that I downloaded. I just, some samples that I found on Google. Google's your friend. I have no particular attachment to this one. Just like it. Oops. Stop, man. Okay. So, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to set all of these to 1 so that we can only hear... Oops, come on. I need to switch that back. Anyway, alright. I've been finding that this is a bit twitchy for me sometimes. Okay, so we're going to undo that. I'm just going to do this. Okay. So I'm gonna set up a basic beat here. There we go. Okay, so what I've done is I've just found samples that are kick and that are just kick and snare. Now, I'm going to remove all these to have them just play silence. Okay. So now, out of the slices that I've got from that beat, I made myself a standard boom-tat snare groove. But see, now I can start adding in the little parts of the beat to make it a little more interesting. That's not bad. What's 7? Let's see what some of these other ones are. That's not bad. Okay, so there you go. So now just by messing around with the samples a little bit and playing until it sounded good, now I've got a reasonable beat. Now what happens if I kick up the tempo a little bit? So now you'll notice that all the little chops, the choppy bits are a little smoother because it's going by faster. Now, we're going to do one of Dave's standard tricks. Is we're going to add the electronic kick in. And we're going to find let's turn off the side. I think that sounds kind of dope, right? Okay, so now using Egoist in a very, 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 very light way. Just using the slicer, changing around some of the beats, adding in the electronic kit on the bottom. I've already come up with a lot, okay, of groove. So, now we're going to do something interesting. I'm going to take FAC Envolver, which is an envelope follower. And I'm going to run Egoist through it. What's cool about FAC Envolver is that it can be a trigger for both audio and for MIDI. In this sense, we're going to use it for MIDI, and we're going to use it to generate a bass line. So I'm going to open up Cyclop. Now, I've said in other videos that I think Cyclop is absolutely gorgeous from an interface standpoint. I love all the knobs. I love the skeuomorphism. I'm a big fan. However, I don't like the way it sounds. And that's not to say that it doesn't sound good. The quality of the sound is good. I just don't particularly like super harsh, super digital kinds of synthesizers. And this is that. This is definitely a dubstep kind of a synth. But I'm going to try to not use it in that way today, and we'll see how that goes. So, I put in this FAC Envolver in here, and I'm running the audio of Egoist through it, and you can see that it's picking up the transients, right? It's picking up the amplitude spikes. I'm going to use those amplitude spikes, though, to send MIDI signal to Cyclop. So if I go back to FAC Envolver here, and I go down, I'm going to say note source is going to be, note source is going to be internal. And now it's sending, every time there's an amplitude spike from Egoist, the drums, it's sending a note to Cyclop. So we're going to pick a scale here. Okay, so look, I've instantly generated a bass line using FAC Envolver. I went over, I told it to play a C. In fact, I'm going to change that to an E. And it's playing up and down. It's playing the note sources internal, And down here I can choose the scale. I'm playing up and down a minor pentatonic scale. So I'm playing some sort of a basic funky bass line. And now I can set the sensitivity here. I'm gonna leave it there, a little more active. That's kind of cool. Now let's do a couple of things here. I'm going to use a whole bunch of new apps that I haven't really used before. So let's use something on the drums. Let's add some Rat Shack reverb on the drums and really kind of bust them up, make them sound old school. Let's turn that on for a second. Woo! Now here, let's just see the difference here. This is the drum beat just straight up coming from Egoist, and this is through Rat Shack Reverb. So if we get them both in there, that's pretty dope. Like that sounds super mean. So let's add. I'm going to put the bass through Audio Damage's Discord and use it as kind of a chorus. Alright, big, mean. It's a super heavy groove right there. Alright, now we need something on top of that. I think we need some really, really brash organ, but like really distorted and gritty. Oh, alright, hold on. So look, in 15 minutes, I threw together a hot groove. Egoist providing so much of the bottom, all the drums, okay? And that's not even using any of the effects within Egoist itself. There's a whole effects section and a whole effects sequencer. Didn't even touch it. We ran the drums through a little bit of Rat Shack reverb that just came out from Audio Damage. And then we took Cyclop and we fed it the MIDI signal from FAC Envolver here, which is a envelope follower. And anytime you get an attack transient on the drums, you get an amplitude spike from the drums, it would send a MIDI note and just cycle through up and down a pentatonic scale. And then we get, I added a little distorted organ up on top. that's it. So I hope you guys liked the video. I hope you guys liked the jam. I hope you guys learned something. I've got more Sugar Bytes centric videos coming. Thank you, Sugar Bytes, for thinking of me. And you know, your apps are wonderful. I really like the sound quality. Some of them I'm still wrestling with, but we're working on it. But thank you to the Sugar Bytes folks. Thank you guys for watching. Like the video, subscribe to the channel. Go run down the street screaming that Daveypoo is the greatest guy ever. And I'll see you guys next time.